The bridge of the Eternal Dominion hummed with quiet efficiency. Captain Hyunwoo stood before the massive viewing screen, his hands clasped behind his back. Stars stretched endlessly before him, cold and distant. He had served the Galactic Empire for 30 years, visiting hundreds of worlds, meeting dozens of species. Nothing surprised him anymore. "Captain, we're approaching the boundary," Navigator Ji-won announced from her station. She was young, barely 5 years out of the academy. Her voice carried excitement that Hyunwoo had lost decades ago. "Slow to quarter speed," Hyunwoo ordered. He glanced at the star charts displayed on the side screens. The yellow star ahead was marked in red. Seoul, Earth's sun, forbidden space. "Sir, should we really be here?" Ji-won asked. Her fingers danced across her console, adjusting their course. "The regulations are clear. No Imperial vessel has crossed this boundary in 200 years. Hyunwoo smiled slightly. "We're not crossing. We're investigating unusual energy readings. That's our mission." In the research section below the bridge, Da-yun looked up from her screens. She was the ship's xenoanthropologist, an expert on primitive species. For weeks she had been studying everything the Empire knew about humans. It wasn't much. The files were old, incomplete, and marked with warnings she didn't understand. "Captain," she spoke through the communication system, "I've found something interesting in the archives." "Go ahead," Hyunwoo replied. The quarantine around Earth wasn't established by the current Empire. It's older, much older. Some of these records date back before the Empire even existed. Hyunwoo frowned. That didn't make sense. The Galactic Empire had ruled for 5,000 years. What could be older than that? Before he could respond, the ship's alarms began to sound. Not the sharp, urgent warnings of danger, but a steady, rhythmic pulse. Ji-won's hands flew across her controls. "Captain, something's activating ahead of us. Multiple objects. They're coming online." On the viewing screen, lights appeared in the darkness. Hundreds of them. They formed a massive sphere around the solar system, each one pulsing with ancient energy. Hyunwoo had never seen anything like them. "What are those?" Ji-won whispered. "Warning beacons," Da-eun's voice came through the speakers. She sounded breathless. Ancient warning beacons. "Captain, they're transmitting." The bridge filled with sound. Not one language, but thousands. The ship's computer struggled to translate them all. Words scrolled across every screen in the language of the Empire. "Turn back. Terran space forbidden by Imperial decree." Sub 21. "Turn back. Danger. Turn back." The message repeated over and over in every language the galaxy had ever known. Admiral Tae-yang appeared on the communication screen. He commanded the fleet stationed 3 star systems away. His face was hard, scarred from years of combat. "Hyunwoo, what's your status?" "We've triggered some kind of warning system, Admiral." "Ancient beacons. They're telling us to turn back." Tae-yang's expression didn't change. "Those beacons have been dead for centuries. Ignore them and continue your mission. We need to know what's causing those energy readings. Sir, with respect, these beacons aren't dead. They're very much active. And they're old. Older than the Empire." "Impossible," Tae-yang said flatly. "Nothing is older than the Empire. Complete your scan and return." "That's an order." The communication ended. Hyunwoo stood in silence, watching the beacons pulse their warnings. Ji-won looked at him nervously. "What do we do, Captain?" Hyunwoo thought for a long moment. He was a loyal officer. He followed orders. But something about this felt wrong. Those beacons weren't there to scare away curious explorers. They were there to protect something. Or to protect someone from something. "Take us closer," he finally said, but slowly, "and keep our shields at maximum." The Eternal Dominion moved forward. The beacons grew brighter, their warnings more urgent. Da-yun came to the bridge, her tablet computer clutched in her hands. "Captain, I've been analyzing the beacon's construction. They're not Imperial technology. They're not like anything in our databases. Whoever built them had knowledge we don't possess, meaning they could do things we can't. And they used that technology to build a warning system around one primitive planet." Why? It was a good question. Hyunwoo had no answer. They passed through the line of beacons. Nothing happened. No weapons fired. No defenses activated. Just the constant pleading warnings. "Turn back, turn back. Turn back, we're inside the boundary," Ji-won reported. Her voice was tight with tension. "Scanning the system now." The solar system spread before them on the displays. 8 planets orbiting a yellow sun. The 3rd planet from the sun was marked as Earth, humanity's home world. But Hyunwoo's attention was drawn to the outer regions. The Kuiper Belt, the scattered debris beyond the planets. There, Jiwon said, pointing. Energy signature detected. It's small. Maybe a ship. Can you identify it? Negative. The design doesn't match any known Imperial vessel. It's crude, primitive, but it's definitely artificial. Hyunwoo felt a chill run down his spine. They had found a human ship. After 200 years of quarantine, they were about to meet the species the galaxy had forbidden. Open a communication channel, he ordered. Sir, are you sure? Jiwon asked. We came here to investigate. We're investigating. Open the channel. The communication system activated. For a long moment, there was only static. Then a voice came through. It spoke a language the ship's computer didn't recognize at first. Then the translation program caught up. Unknown vessel, this is the mining ship Lucky Dragon. You're in Terran space. Identify yourself. The voice was male, calm, almost casual, as if meeting an alien ship at the edge of the solar system was a normal thing. Hyunwoo cleared his throat. This is Captain Hyunwoo of the Imperial vessel Eternal Dominion. We mean no harm. We're on a peaceful survey mission. Silence. Then laughter. Actual laughter. Imperial? Like an empire? Buddy, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you from Mars? Did the Mars colonies finally figure out long-range travel? Daeon's eyes went wide. Captain, they don't know. The humans don't know about the Empire. They don't know about the galaxy. They think they're alone. Hyunwoo felt the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. They weren't just making first contact. They were shattering everything these humans believed about the universe. No, Hyunwoo said slowly into the communication system. We're not from Mars, we're from very far away. We're not human, another pause. When the voice came back, the casual tone was gone. Say that again, slowly. We are not human. We are from another star system. We are part of a civilization called the Galactic Empire. We would like to meet with you. The communication channel went dead. On the scanner, the small mining ship began moving. Not toward them, not away. It was just sitting there, hanging in space. Ji-won looked at her captain. What do we do now? Hyunwoo stared at the small ship on the screen. Somewhere inside it, humans were making a decision that would change everything. For them, for the Empire, for the galaxy, we wait, he said quietly. We wait and see what they decide. Behind them, the ancient beacons continued their warnings. Turn back, turn back, turn back, but it was already too late. Dong-hyun stared at the communication panel like it had grown teeth. His crew gathered behind him in the cramped control room of the Lucky Dragon. Nobody spoke. They barely breathed. Did he just say aliens? Asked Yuna. She was the ship's engineer, small and wiry with oil stains on her hands. Real aliens? That's what he said, Dong-hyun replied. His voice was steady, but his hands shook slightly. He had been mining asteroids for 15 years. His father had done it before him. His grandfather had been on the first mining cruise to leave Earth orbit. In all that time, in all those years of staring at the stars, they had been alone. Until now. Sir, there's definitely a ship out there, said Kwan, the sensor operator. He was young, fresh from Earth, still excited about space. Right now he looked terrified. It's big. Really big. And the technology. I've never seen anything like it. Dong-hyun made a decision. Yuna, send a message to Earth Defense. Tell them what's happening. Tell them we've made contact with an alien vessel. Then get me everything you can about that ship. On it, Yuna said, already moving to her station. Dong-hyun opened the communication channel again. Alien ship. Eternal Dominion. You still there? We're here, Captain Hyunwoo's voice replied immediately. We're still here. Okay, let's say I believe you. Let's say you really are aliens from another star system. What do you want? To talk, to meet, to establish peaceful relations between our civilizations? Dong-hyun laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. You picked a hell of a time for that. We're just a mining crew. We're nobody important. You should probably talk to Earth, to the government, to someone who matters. You matter, Hyunwoo said. You're the first human we've met in 200 years. That makes you very important. 200 years. The words hung in the air. Dong-hyun glanced at Yuna. She looked just as confused as he felt. What do you mean, 200 years? This is the first time anyone's met you. No, Hyunwoo said quietly. We met your people before, a long time ago. It didn't go well. After that, your world was placed under quarantine. No one was allowed to come here. No one was allowed to contact you. Quan pulled up historical records on his screen. Sir, I'm checking Earth's history. 200 years ago would be around 2647. There's nothing. No records of alien contact, nothing. Dong Hyun felt a chill. Either these aliens were lying, or someone had hidden the truth. Neither option was good. Why? Dong Hyun asked. Why quarantine us? There was a long pause before Hyun-woo answered. We don't know. The records are sealed. All we know is that Earth was declared forbidden space. The penalty for entering this system is severe. We're breaking ancient laws just by talking to you. Then why are you here? Because we detected energy readings that shouldn't exist. Because I wanted to know the truth, because... Hyun-woo paused. Because I'm curious. And maybe because I'm tired of following rules I don't understand. Dong Hyun found himself liking this alien captain. Anyone who broke rules to satisfy curiosity was someone he could work with. All right, I'm sending you our coordinates. You can approach. But slowly, and keep your weapons powered down. We will. Thank you. The communication ended. Dong Hyun turned to his crew. Yuna, tell me you got something useful. Yuna's fingers flew across her controls. Their ship is incredible. The power output alone is off the charts. They're using technology I can't even begin to understand. Energy shields faster than light engines, weapons that could vaporize an asteroid in seconds. And they want to talk, Quan said nervously. Yeah, Dong Hyun agreed. They want to talk. Which means we have something they don't. Otherwise, why bother talking? On Yuna's screen, the alien ship began moving toward them. It was massive, at least 20 times the size of the Lucky Dragon. It moved with impossible grace, sliding through space like a shark through water. Contact from Earth Defense, Quan announced. Commander Insu is on the line. A new voice filled the control room. It was hard, military, and deeply unhappy. Mining vessel Lucky Dragon, this is Earth Defense Command. Maintain your position. Do not engage with the unknown vessel. We have military ships moving to your location. Too late, Dong Hyun replied. I've already invited them over for tea. This isn't a joke, Dong Hyun. That ship has weapons that could destroy your vessel before you could blink. Fall back now. With respect, Commander, running seems like a bad idea. They could catch us easily. Besides, they seem friendly. Friendly? Commander Insu sounded like he was chewing glass. They've violated our space. They've broken a 200-year quarantine. They're either stupid or dangerous. Either one is friendly. They're curious, Dong Hyun said. There's a difference. Before Insu could respond, the Eternal Dominion came to a stop 2 kilometers away. At this distance, Dong Hyun could see it clearly through the viewing port. It was beautiful in a terrifying way, sleek and deadly, covered in armor and weapons glowing with power. Commander, Quan said suddenly, his voice tight. I'm detecting another signal. Something's powering up in the outer system. Multiple somethings. What are you talking about?
Insu demanded. Defense platforms, Quan replied, his face pale.
Dozens of them. They're lighting up like Christmas trees. They're targeting the alien ship. Dong Hyun felt his stomach drop. Commander, tell me those are ours. They are, Insu confirmed. Automated defense systems. They activate when unknown vessels enter Terran space, and right now they're preparing to fire. Call them off. I can't, they're automatic. They respond to threat protocols. That ship is a threat. On the alien vessel, alarms were probably screaming. Dong Hyun could imagine Captain Hyun-woo realizing he had walked into a trap. Except it wasn't a trap. It was a misunderstanding that was about to turn deadly. Dong Hyun grabbed the communication controls. Hyun-woo, you need to back off now. There are defense platforms targeting you. They're going to fire. We detect them. Hyun-woo's voice was calm, but Dong Hyun could hear the tension underneath. There are 47 platforms. They're using technology that's crude but effective. Very effective. What kind of power output are they using? Does it matter? They're going to kill you. We're not leaving. We came to talk. We'll talk. You'll die. Then we'll die talking. Dong Hyun stared at the communication panel in disbelief. This alien captain was either the bravest person he'd ever met or the craziest. Maybe both. Yuna looked up from her station. Sir, I'm analyzing those defense platforms. The alien's right. They're crude compared to his ship's technology. But the power levels, they're insane. Each platform is outputting enough energy to power a city. Where is that energy coming from? I don't know, Dong Hyun said. But we need to stop this. He opened a channel to Commander Insu. Call off those platforms. These aliens came in peace. If we fire on them, we start a war. A war we might need to fight, Insu replied. That ship is too advanced. Too dangerous. If we let them go, they'll come back with more ships. We should destroy them while we can. No, Dong-hyun said flatly. That's murder. They've done nothing wrong. They've violated our space. They're explorers, just like we were when we first left Earth. You going to kill them for being curious? Silence. Dong-hyun could imagine Insu weighing his options, starting a war with an advanced alien civilization, or trusting a mining foreman's instincts. Stand down, Insu finally ordered. All platforms to standby mode. But they stay powered and ready. One wrong move and we fire. Understood, Dong-hyun said. He switched back to Hyunwoo's channel. You're clear. The platforms are standing down, but they're still watching. Don't do anything sudden. Thank you, Hyunwoo said, and he sounded genuinely grateful. You just saved a lot of lives. Maybe, Dong-hyun replied. Or maybe I just delayed things. Either way, we need to talk. Really talk. Because someone needs to explain why your people quarantined us, and why ours built weapons that scare the hell out of you. Agreed. I'm sending a message to Earth now. Requesting permission to visit. To establish formal contact. Good luck with that. Earth doesn't trust easy. Neither do we, Hyunwoo said. But we're going to try anyway. Dong-hyun looked out at the massive alien ship hanging in space. Behind it, human defense platforms waited, ready to unleash terrible power. Two civilizations meeting for the first time. Both armed, both afraid, both hoping the other wouldn't shoot first. This was how wars started. Or how peace began. Dong-hyun wasn't sure which they were looking at. Hey, alien captain, he said. Welcome to Terran space. Sorry about the guns. Hyunwoo laughed. Actually laughed. Don't apologize. We're impressed. We'll try to be good guests. See that you do, Dong-hyun replied. Because if you're not, those platforms will turn you into dust. And I really don't want to see that happen. Neither do we, Hyunwoo agreed. Neither do we. 3 days passed before Earth's delegation arrived. 3 days of tense waiting while the Eternal Dominion sat at the edge of the solar system, surrounded by defense platforms that never powered down. Captain Hyunwoo spent those days analyzing everything his sensors could detect. What he found disturbed him. They're more advanced than they should be, Da-eun said, studying the data on her screens. According to our files, humans barely had space travel 200 years ago. Now they've colonized their entire solar system. That's not normal development. Maybe they're smart, Ji-won suggested. Maybe, Da-eun replied. Or maybe the quarantine was never about protecting us from them. Maybe it was about giving them time to develop without interference. Navigator Ji-won frowned. That doesn't make sense. Why would we do that? I don't know, Da-eun admitted, but I'm starting to think we should have listened to those warning beacons. Hyunwoo was about to respond when the sensors lit up. A ship had entered detection range. Moving fast, much faster than should be possible. Contact, Ji-won announced. Single vessel approaching, speed is. That can't be right. What's wrong? According to sensors, they crossed half the solar system in 2 hours. Captain, our fastest ships couldn't do that. Not even close. The human ship appeared on the viewing screen. It was smaller than the Eternal Dominion, sleek and elegant. It looked like a blade cutting through space, and it moved with impossible grace. They're hailing us, Ji-won said. Open the channel. A woman appeared on the screen. She was tall, with sharp eyes and gray hair tied back. She wore a formal uniform, military in style but civilian in decoration. Behind her stood 2 others, a man with glasses who looked like a scientist, and another woman in combat armor. Captain Hyunwoo, the first woman said. I am Ambassador Soo-jin of the Terran Federation. Thank you for your patience. We're ready to talk. Hyunwoo bowed slightly. Ambassador, thank you for meeting with us. May I ask, how did you reach us so quickly? Soo-jin smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. With our engines. Would you like to come aboard our ship? Or would you prefer we come to yours? We would be honored if you visited the Eternal Dominion. Hyunwoo said carefully. Excellent. We'll dock in 10 minutes. Please have your medical team ready. Standard quarantine protocols. The communication ended. Hyunwoo looked at Da-eun. Did she just tell us how to receive guests? She did, Da-eun replied. And she did it without being rude. That takes skill. The human ship approached and docked with practiced ease. The airlock cycled, the door opened, and the human delegation stepped aboard. Ambassador Su-Jin was even more impressive in person. She moved with confidence, her eyes taking in everything. Behind her, the scientist looked around with open curiosity. The armored woman, introduced as Security Chief Kyung-mi, watched everyone like they might explode. "Welcome to the Eternal Dominion," Hyunwoo said formally. "I hope our ship meets your standards." "It's impressive," Su-Jin replied. "Though I notice your energy systems are inefficient. You're losing about 30% of your power to waste heat." Hyunwoo blinked. That was classified information. Information their sensors shouldn't be able to detect through the ship's shields. The scientist, Dr. Jae-hoon, smiled apologetically. "Sorry, force of habit. I analyze everything. It's a problem." "How did you know about our power systems?" Da-yoon asked. "We've been monitoring your ship since you arrived," Su-Jin said bluntly. "We've analyzed your technology, your weapons, your communications. We know how your engines work, how your shields function, and what materials your hull is made from." "That's impossible," Ji-won said. "No," Jae-hoon replied cheerfully. "Just difficult. Would you like me to explain? I love explaining things." "Perhaps we should move to the conference room," Hyun-woo suggested quickly. The conference room was designed to impress. Large windows showing the stars, comfortable seats, refreshments from a dozen worlds. The humans barely glanced at any of it. They sat down like they were at a business meeting, not a historic first contact. "Let's be direct," Su-Jin said. "You're here because you detected unusual energy readings. Those readings came from our ships. We've been testing new engine designs in the outer system. You weren't supposed to detect them, but clearly your sensors are better than we estimated." "You knew we were coming?" Hyunwoo asked. "We've known about the Galactic Empire for 50 years, Su-Jin replied calmly. "We've been monitoring your communications, studying your technology, learning your languages. We know about your laws, your culture, your history. We know about the quarantine. We know everything." The room fell silent. Hyunwoo felt the universe tilt slightly. "If you knew, why didn't you contact us?" "Because we weren't ready. And frankly, we weren't sure we wanted to. Your empire doesn't treat species like us well. You have strict hierarchies. Species are ranked by technology and power. Primitive species are conquered or protected like children. We didn't want either option." "So you hid," Daon said. "We prepared," Su-Jin corrected. "There's a difference. We knew eventually someone would cross the boundary, someone curious or ambitious or stupid. We wanted to be ready when that happened. And now we're here," Hyunwoo said. "Now you're here," Su-Jin agreed. "So let's talk about what happens next. You want to establish relations with Earth. You want to bring us into the Empire. You want us to follow your laws and accept your authority. That's the standard procedure, yes." "We're not going to do that," Su-Jin said flatly. Kyung-mi leaned forward slightly, her hand resting near her weapon. Hyunwoo noticed and carefully kept his hands visible. "Ambassador, you don't understand," he said slowly. "The Empire maintains order across 12,000 star systems, thousands of species. Without that order, there would be chaos, war, destruction. We protect species like yours." "From what?" Jae-hoon asked. He had been quietly examining a datapad, but now he looked up. "From other species? From yourselves? Or from competition?" "From dangers you can't imagine," Hyunwoo said. "Try us," Jae-hoon replied. "We're pretty imaginative." Da-eun decided to intervene. "Dr. Jae-hoon, I've studied your species. You're remarkable in many ways. But you're also young. You've been spacefaring for less than 300 years. The Empire has existed for 5,000. We've seen species destroy themselves. We've seen wars that consumed entire star systems. We know things you haven't learned yet." "Like what?" Jae-hoon asked. "Like how to build stable fusion reactors? We figured that out. How to manipulate space-time? We've got that too. How to extract energy from vacuum fluctuations? Done. What exactly do you know that we don't?" He pulled a small device from his pocket. It was no bigger than his hand. He placed it on the table and pressed a button. The device hummed, and then it began to glow. This, Jae-hoon said, is a zero-point energy extractor. It pulls power directly from quantum vacuum fluctuations. According to your physics, it shouldn't work. According to our physics, it works just fine. This little device can power a city for a year. Hyunwoo stared at the glowing device. Da-yoon's face had gone pale. Ji-won was rapidly checking something on her wrist computer, shaking her head in disbelief. That's impossible, Da-eun whispered. No, Jae-hoon said patiently. It's just really hard. We figured it out about 20 years ago. Want to see something else interesting? He pulled out another device. This one looked like a pen. He aimed it at an empty cup on the table. The cup vanished. A moment later, it reappeared on the other side of the room. Matter-energy conversion and reconstitution, Jae-hoon explained. We can turn anything into energy and back again. Very useful for transport. Very efficient. Stop, Hyunwoo said. His voice was shaky. Please stop. Jae-hoon put his devices away. I have 17 more things I could show you. Each one violates what your empire considers possible. We developed them because we had to, because we were alone, because we had no one to tell us what couldn't be done. Sujin leaned back in her chair. Do you understand now, Captain? We don't need your protection, we don't need your guidance, we've been doing just fine on our own. But why? Da-eun asked. Why would someone quarantine a species with this? Much potential? That's what we'd like to know, Sujin said. And it's one of the things we'll discuss, but first, we need to address the situation in our space. You're not the only Imperial ship out here. Hyunwoo's blood ran cold. What do you mean? We've detected 3 more Imperial vessels approaching the boundary. They'll arrive within 2 days. One of them is a warship. A big one. We need to know, Captain. Are you here to make peace? Or are you here to start a war? Before Hyunwoo could answer, Admiral Tae-yang's face appeared on every screen in the room. He looked furious. Hyunwoo, what have you done? I have confirmation that you've allowed aliens aboard your vessel. You've shared information about the Empire. You violated every protocol. I'm ordering you to detain those humans immediately and prepare for extraction. Sujin looked at the screen, then at Hyunwoo. Well, she said calmly. This is awkward. Kyungmi's hand moved to her weapon. The security officer's eyes were cold. Captain, we came here in good faith. We trusted you. Was that a mistake? Hyunwoo looked at the humans. At the devices that shouldn't exist. At the technology his empire couldn't match. At the people who had survived alone in the darkness and thrived. He made a decision. One that would probably end his career. Admiral Tae-yang's fleet arrived exactly when predicted. 7 ships, 5 cruisers, 1 battleship, and 1 vessel that made Hyunwoo's blood run cold. A dreadnought. The Iron Fist. 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapons, capable of destroying planets, and commanding it was Captain Bo-ra. Aggressive, ambitious, and convinced that showing strength was the only way to deal with primitive species. This is bad, Ji-won said quietly, on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. Bo-ra hates talking. She'll want to shoot first. Then we don't give her a reason, Hyunwoo replied. But he knew it wouldn't be that simple. The human delegation had returned to their ship but remained nearby. Ambassador Sujin had promised to contact Earth Defense Command to make sure no one overreacted. Hyunwoo hoped she succeeded. Incoming transmission from the Iron Fist, Ji-won announced, put it through. Bo-ra's face appeared on screen. She was younger than Hyunwoo, with cold eyes and a scar across her jaw. Captain Hyunwoo, Admiral Tae-yang has ordered me to secure this system. You will stand down and transfer the human prisoners to my custody. They're not prisoners, Hyunwoo said carefully. They're diplomatic guests. They're primitives who have violated Imperial protocol by possessing restricted technology. They're coming with me, by choice or by force. Captain Bo-ra, I strongly advise against hostile action. These humans are more capable than you think. Bo-ra laughed. I've seen the reports. Crude weapons, crude ships. They have some interesting tricks, but nothing we can't handle. They need to learn their place in the Empire. I'm going to teach them. The transmission ended. Hyunwoo immediately opened a channel to Sujin's ship. Ambassador, you need to run. Now. That dreadnought will destroy your ship. Sujin's voice was calm. We're not running, Captain. But thank you for the warning. You might want to move the Eternal Dominion away from the combat zone. Combat zone? Ambassador, you can't fight a dreadnought. We'll see. Sujin out. Hyunwoo stared at the screen in horror. Jiwon, move us away from both vessels. Maximum safe distance, and what about the humans? They've made their choice. We can't help them now. The Eternal Dominion retreated. Admiral Taeyang's fleet began moving toward the human ship. Bora's dreadnought led the way, weapons charging. On the sensors, the human ship just sat there, waiting. They're not running, Daeun said. She had come to the bridge to watch. Why aren't they running? Pride, Hyunwoo said. Or stupidity. Maybe both. Then everything changed. The sensors went crazy. All across the solar system, objects were powering up. Not the defense platforms they had seen before. These were different, bigger, hundreds of them. Thousands of them. What is that? Jiwon demanded, her hands flying across her console. Defense network, Daeun breathed. The entire solar system is a defense network. Every asteroid, every satellite, every station, they're all weapons platforms. How did we miss this? Because they were offline, Hyunwoo realized. They only activate when there's a real threat. Bora's voice came over the fleet channel. All ships, battle formation. Prepare to engage. These primitives are trying to scare us. Show them what real power looks like. The dreadnought fired first. A massive energy beam that could crack a planet's crust. It struck the human ship directly and did nothing. The beam splashed across the human ship's shields like water on glass. The ship didn't even move. Impossible, Jiwon whispered. Bora fired again. And again. Every weapon the dreadnought had. Enough firepower to destroy a fleet. The human ship absorbed it all. Then the humans responded. It wasn't a weapon beam. It wasn't a missile. It was something else. Pure energy. Moving faster than light itself. It struck the dreadnought's shields and went straight through. The iron fist went dark. Every system. Every weapon. Every light. The massive warship just hung in space, powerless. Did they destroy it? Daeun asked. No, Hyunwoo said, checking his sensors. Life support is still active. The crew is alive. They just turned everything else off. Somehow they bypassed the shields and shut down the ship. Bora's cruisers opened fire. All of them at once. The human ship didn't even bother with shields. The weapons just stopped, disappeared, as if they had never existed. Then the defense platforms activated. The entire solar system lit up like a star. Thousands of weapons pointed at the Imperial fleet, not firing, just waiting. Ambassador Sujin's voice came over every communication channel. Imperial fleet, this is your only warning. Power down your weapons and withdraw. We do not wish to destroy you. But we will if we must. One of Bora's captains panicked. His cruiser launched a full spread of missiles. Dozens of them. Each one capable of destroying a city. The defense platforms fired. Not at the missiles. At the cruiser. 20 platforms firing simultaneously. The cruiser's shields lasted half a second. The armor lasted another second. Then the ship simply came apart. Not exploded. Not destroyed. Disassembled. Pulled apart piece by weapons that manipulated matter itself. The crew didn't die. Escape pods launched automatically, pulled free by some kind of tractor beam. The pods were caught and held, their crews alive but terrified. Stand down! Admiral Taeyang's voice roared across the fleet channel. All ships stand down immediately. The firing stopped. The Imperial fleet sat frozen, surrounded by human weapons that could tear them apart whenever they chose. Ambassador Sujin, Taeyang said, his voice carefully controlled. We surrender. Please don't destroy my ships. We don't want to destroy anything, Admiral Sujin replied. We never did. But you need to understand something. This is Terran space. We make the rules here. And the first rule is simple. You don't threaten us. Understood, Taeyang said. What are your terms? We're sending recovery teams to the damaged vessels. We'll repair what we can. We'll return your crews unharmed, and then you'll leave. All of you, except Captain Hyunwoo. He's welcome to stay if he wishes. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Hyunwoo felt every eye turn to him. He opened a channel to the fleet. Admiral, I request permission to remain. Someone needs to establish proper diplomatic relations. I volunteer. There was a long pause. Finally, Taeyang spoke. Permission granted. But Hyunwoo, you understand what this means. You're choosing them over the Empire. No, sir, Hyunwoo replied. I'm choosing peace over war. There's a difference. Over the next 2 days, Hyunwoo watched something remarkable. Human ships approached the disabled dreadnought, small craft piloted by humans in work suits. They didn't come with weapons. They came with tools. A young human woman came aboard the Eternal Dominion. She introduced herself as Corporal Minseo, Marine Corps Engineering Division. She was polite, professional, and completely unafraid. "We're here to help repair the ships we damaged," she explained. "We know how Imperial technology works. We can fix it." "Why?" Daeon asked. "We attacked you." "You did," Minseo agreed. "But you're not attacking now, so we help. That's how this works." She was true to her word. The human repair crews worked alongside Imperial engineers. They shared techniques, explained their technology, taught them new methods. They joked and laughed and treated the Imperial crews like friends, not enemies. Within 48 hours, every damaged ship was operational. The dreadnought systems were restored. Better than restored. The humans had improved them. "They made our engines 15% more efficient," Bora said in disbelief. She had come aboard the Eternal Dominion to report to Tai Yang. "They fixed problems we didn't even know we had." "Why? Why help us after we attack them?" "Because that's what they do," Hyunwoo said quietly. "They turn enemies into friends. It's what makes them dangerous." Taeyang appeared on screen. His face was tired. "Hyunwoo, I'm returning to Imperial space. I need to report what happened here. The Empress needs to know about these humans. What they can do. What they are." "What will you tell her, Admiral?" "The truth. That we found a species that could destroy us, and chose not to. That scares me more than any weapon." "It should," Hyunwoo agreed. "But maybe it should also give you hope." The fleet prepared to leave. Bora's ship powered up, systems humming with new efficiency. The other cruisers fell into formation. The dreadnought, no longer a symbol of power but a reminder of what could have been lost, turned away from Earth. But before they left, Ambassador Su Jin sent one final message. It was broadcast to every ship in the fleet, to every crew member, to everyone who had witnessed what happened. "People of the Galactic Empire," she said, "we know you think of us as primitives, as children who need guidance, but we're not children. We're your neighbors, and neighbors don't threaten each other. They help each other. They respect each other. We hope you'll remember that." She paused, then smiled. "Also, we've sent each of your ships home with improved engine specifications, free of charge. Consider it a gift, from one civilization to another. We hope it's the first of many." The message ended. The fleet jumped to faster-than-light travel and vanished. Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion watching them go. His crew was quiet. Everyone was processing what they had witnessed. "Captain," Jiwon said softly, "what have we started?" "I don't know," Hyunwoo admitted, "but I think we just changed the galaxy." On Earth, in the Defense Command Center, Su Jin stood with Kyungmi and Jae-hoon, watching the Imperial fleet leave. "Think they learned their lesson?" Kyungmi asked. The Imperial capital was a planet called Nexus Prime. It had been the center of galactic civilization for 5,000 years. Towers reached into the clouds. Ships filled the sky. Representatives from 800 species walked its streets. And in the highest tower, in the throne room that overlooked it all, sat Empress Ye Jin. She was old, ancient even by Imperial standards. She had ruled for 300 years, guiding the empire through wars, disasters, and countless political crises. Nothing surprised her anymore, until Admiral Taeyang's report arrived. She read it 3 times. Then she watched the sensor recordings. The battle, the human weapons, the mercy shown to defeated enemies. She watched it all without speaking. Finally, she called a council meeting, the room filled with advisors, generals, and politicians. Some wanted war. Some wanted to strengthen the quarantine. All of them were afraid. Empress Yejin listened to them argue for 2 hours. Then she raised her hand. Silence fell immediately. "We will not go to war," she said simply. "But Empress," General Wu Jin protested, "these humans are a threat. Their technology surpasses ours. If we wait, they'll only grow stronger." "They're already stronger," Yejin replied. "If they wanted war, Admiral Taeyang's fleet would be debris. They chose peace. We should honor that choice." "They humiliated us," another general said. "We can't let that stand." "They taught us," Yejin corrected. "There's a difference. They showed us that power without wisdom is useless, that victory without mercy is hollow. These are lessons we seem to have forgotten." She stood, walking to the window. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them I wish to meet with their leaders. Tell them I'm coming personally." The council erupted in protest. An empress visiting a non-member world was unheard of. It suggested equality, partnership, things the Empire had never offered before. Yejin silenced them with a look. "I have decided. Prepare my ship." 3 weeks later, Empress Yejin's personal vessel entered the solar system. It was smaller than a warship, but more beautiful. A symbol of peace, not power. The humans met her at their main space station, a massive ring orbiting Earth. Ambassador Sujin greeted her personally, along with a woman introduced as Ambassador Sang-woo, who specialized in trade negotiations. Empress Sujin said, bowing slightly, "Welcome to Terran space. We're honored by your visit." "The honor is mine," Yejin replied. She looked around the station. It was clean, efficient, and full of humans working together. "Your station is impressive. Thank you. Would you like a tour before our talks begin?" "I would like that very much." They walked through the station. Yejin saw children learning in schools, scientists working in laboratories, families eating together in common areas. It reminded her of the Empire's stations, but something was different. There was a warmth here, a sense of community she hadn't seen in years. "You seem troubled, Empress," Sang-woo said. "I'm thinking," Yejin replied, "about what we've lost. My empire maintains order through law and hierarchy. Everyone has their place, their role. It's efficient, but not warm," Sujin finished. "No, not warm." They reached a conference room. Inside, a dozen humans waited, leaders from Earth's various nations and colonies. They stood as the Empress entered, showing respect without subservience. "Let's talk," Yejin said, sitting down. "Let's talk about the future." The negotiations lasted 3 days. They were difficult. Both sides wanted different things. The Empire wanted Earth to join, to accept imperial law. Earth wanted autonomy, independence. Finally, they found a compromise. Earth would become an autonomous partner of the Empire. Not a subject, not a member, a partner. They would share some technology, accept some refugees, participate in trade, but Terran space would remain forbidden except by invitation. The Empire would enforce the quarantine, protect Earth from unwanted contact, and leave them alone to develop as they wished. It was unprecedented, but Empress Yejin saw the wisdom in it. "There is one more thing," she said on the last day. "I've been investigating the original quarantine. I wanted to know why it was established." Everyone leaned forward. "The records go back 6,000 years, Yejin continued. "Before the current empire, before the previous empires. They go back to a species called the Founders. We barely remember them, but they left records." She activated a holographic display. Ancient text appeared, translated into human languages. "The Founders quarantined Earth after meeting your ancestors. They left this message. We have encountered a species unlike any other. They do not conquer through force but through friendship. They do not dominate through fear but through cooperation. We tried to integrate them into our civilization. Within 2 generations, our civilization had transformed. Old enemies became allies, strict hierarchies dissolved. Our people were happier, but our leaders lost control. We could not allow this transformation to continue. So we quarantined them, let them develop alone. Perhaps in isolation, they will become something different, something less dangerous to order." The room was silent. "But we didn't become different," Sujin said quietly. "We became more of what we already were." "Yes," Yejin agreed. "The Founders feared you not because you were violent, but because you were kind. Not because you would destroy civilizations, but because you would change them. They were right to be afraid. And you?" Ambassador Sang-woo asked. "Are you afraid?" Yejin smiled. It was a tired smile, but genuine. "Terrified, but also hopeful. My empire has grown stagnant, rigid. We maintain order, but we've forgotten why order matters. You can teach us. If we let you—" "We're not teachers," Sujin said. "No, you're friends. That's more valuable." The agreement was signed. Earth and the Empire became partners. News spread across the galaxy within days. Reactions were mixed. Some species celebrated. Others protested. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. What happened surprised them all. Human ships began appearing at Imperial stations. Not warships, trade vessels, science ships, tourist craft. Humans wanted to meet everyone, learn about everyone, make friends with everyone. At first, other species were suspicious. Humans were strange. They smiled too much. Asked too many questions. Wanted to understand everything, but slowly things changed. A human trader helped a struggling Vorlan merchant restart his business. A human scientist collaborated with a Zentari researcher to cure a disease. A human tourist stopped a fight between two species that had been enemies for centuries by simply asking them why they were fighting. 6 months after the agreement, Ambassador Sujin visited Nexus Prime again. This time she wasn't alone. 100 humans came with her. Students, scientists, artists, business people. They spread through the capital like water through cracks, finding their way into every corner of Imperial society. Commander Junho, head of Earth's Defense Force Strategic Planning, came as a military advisor. Within weeks he was teaching Imperial officers new tactics. Not because the Empire forced him to, because they asked and he wanted to help. Captain Hyun-woo became Earth's primary liaison with the Imperial fleet. He split his time between the Eternal Dominion and human vessels, helping both sides understand each other. Navigator Ji-won joined him, fascinated by human culture. Dayun spent 3 months on Earth studying human history. She returned to Nexus Prime and wrote a book about what she learned. It became a bestseller across the Empire. Millions read about how humans had survived wars, disasters, and isolation, not through strength, but through cooperation. A year after first contact, Empress Ye-jin held another council meeting. The same advisors who had wanted war sat before her. But they looked different now. Less rigid, more thoughtful. Report, Ye-jin ordered. Trade with Earth has increased by 300%, one advisor said. Human technology is revolutionizing our industries. Cultural exchange is thriving, another added. Human art, music, and literature are popular across the Empire. Military cooperation is strong, General Wu Jin admitted reluctantly. Human advisors have helped us improve our defenses significantly. And not just technology, tactics, strategy, ways of thinking we never considered. And the problems? Ye-jin asked. The advisors looked at each other. Finally one spoke. Species are questioning the hierarchy. They're asking why some are ranked higher than others. They're demanding more equality, more voice in decisions. Is this a problem? Ye-jin asked. It's destabilizing, but also necessary. The old ways don't work as well anymore. We need to adapt, Ye-jin nodded. The humans are changing us, just as the founders feared. But I believe it's a good change. A necessary change. On Earth, Sujin sat in her office overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Ambassador Sang-woo and Security Chief Kyung-mi were with her. It's working, Sang-woo said. The Empire is transforming. Slowly, but it's happening. It's risky, Kyung-mi warned. Some species resent the changes. There have been incidents, threats. I know, Sujin said. But we can't stop now. The galaxy has been frozen in place for thousands of years. Someone needed to break the ice. And if it breaks the wrong way? Kyung-mi asked. Then we deal with it, Sujin replied. Together. With our friends. She looked at the stars visible through her window. Somewhere out there, human ships were traveling to new worlds, meeting new species, making new friends. The Galactic Empire had been warned. Terran space was forbidden, but the warning had never been about keeping others out. It had been about keeping humans in.